So as you can see, I got the headliner sewed, and it's in. My braces, I put those in just to keep the glue to dry. And you can see I got my trim around the top to help hold it down so the glue dries good. And you can see the headliner kind of forms around the trailer as it goes. There's a few wrinkles. I think that's kind of from the material when it was sewn together. And then those are the corners. Can't really see it very good. Let's see if I can get my light over there better. So there's the corners. And then I've got some lights I'm putting in there, so I ran the wire for that. These are my windows that go up in the blinds and stuff. That was one of the main reasons why I wanted these windows, because they have blinds and they have nets in them. So it was quite the process to sew, but you can kind of see. And I put some Velcro back here because I'm going to attach some more material to the back. So, and the glue that I used is this glue. Works really well. So, it's 3M74 spray adhesive. They do make an orange version. Instead, this is clear. They do make an orange version. When I say orange, it goes on orange, which I really like just because it lets you see where you're going and where you've put it on. So some of the cans I had were orange and some of them weren't. So I wish I had had all orange. But that is the headliner sewn so far. Getting ready to finish the windows. I got to put those on the other sides of the windows. And then I'm gonna be sewing together the top piece. This piece is pretty had it, so I gotta make a new one. Here you'll see that I bought the material for the tarp from mytarp.com. And they have all different kinds of colors there. They have all different kinds of thickness. This is 18 mil. So it's a little bit thick, but I just kind of went by some of the other YouTubers. There's a guy on the YouTube that builds his own rooftop camper. And I'll try to find the link to his video because he does a really good video on everything he does. And so I'll try to find the link to that and put it in the video. Just to give him kudos because I learned a lot from his video. Here is the process where you have to have a lot of space to do this. And so as you can see, I'm putting I'm using the old top to kind of give an example of what I'm doing and the size I need. But the problem with that top was there was so much of it damaged that first of all I couldn't really get it to be straight, so I kind of had to guess on how long it needed to be, and so I got a rough estimate. I probably should have made it longer than I did because I ended up having to add to it later on. And I'll kind of point that out in the video, but it was not too hard to add to. It just would have been a lot nicer because then I wouldn't have had two seams. I would have only had one seam because I couldn't Obviously sew this in a circle, and all in one piece, so I had to seam it together. I did a couple different things when I did the seam, but so I ended up having to basically make this almost 16 feet long, give or take a few inches. But you kind of really have to go by what your size was, because I'm not sure 100% if all of these were made at the exact same time. I know that they were. I'm assuming that if it was a 74 like mine, it was made with the same mold. But there was a couple different compacts that were just a different shape. Some of them had the whole roof going across the top, and some of them just had a smaller portion like mine. It does not go through the whole top of the trailer. It only goes through basically from halfway through the dinette area through the back. So if yours is the one with the top that goes all the way to the front, then yours is probably a little bit bigger than mine. So once I figured out how wide it needed to be, I needed to basically get it all cut up, and so what you're seeing me now is I'm getting the side pieces all ready. I haven't cut anything out for the windows yet. So for now, I'm just gonna let you watch the video and put some music on and let you enjoy it, and then I'll talk with you a little bit. Here, you can see I put a white template on the table there. That white template is designed to give me extra material. That's the size of the window once it's finished. The inside is what I need to cut out, and I'm going to be using all of the white area to fold up into the sides and for the window. So you'll see as I get going, I'm cutting the corners out, and I'll be cutting and folding those over. And just like you saw me there, I kind of fold the side over and fold the top up, and I fold it on. All that stuff gets folded as you sew, so you can kind of see as I'm going along here, and I've already folded the sides over, and now I have sewn on the velcro. Basically what I did is I taped the velcro with seam tape, and got it all on there. And one of the things that when I was taping the seam tape on that I learned is my sewing machine would sew through the seam tape fine, but the thread did not like it. So the thread would always get caught with the glue from the seam tape, and then it would break. So I had to make sure that I didn't sew through the seam tape. So on this particular part here where I'm getting the window ready, The first part of the window is I've already put the screen on there with the seam tape and the velcro, and then I'm sewing across each one of those, and those are all folded over parts that I saved for the cutout, so you can kind of see that I've actually seam sealed those and taped and then folded them over. Now they're getting sewn to the window, the main part of the window. And then that top piece that you see there, it's actually the bottom of the window, but it's the top in this particular sewing example. Is the part where you do all your folds and you hook the blackout screen and the plastic to that, and you sew all that together. And so you'll see as I get going, I don't really do a great video that shows the sewing of the fold, because I was pretty much just doing this by myself, so I kind of needed a video helper to kind of go around and video this as I go. So I apologize for that portion of it, but I will put a link to the guy that I learned how to do this from, his video, watching him on YouTube, and so you'll be able to see how he does it, and it'll give you a good idea. I would make sure you kind of watch both, because I mean his is a bigger project than mine, so his windows and his things are a little bit probably easier because he has a little bit more material to work with. But when my folds towards the end was very difficult because of the material. I only had so much to deal with. But anyway, thanks for watching this portion of it, and I'll get the music back playing for you. So you saw me wrap up sewing all the sides. So all the sides have been sewed. The only thing that I haven't sewn to the sides is that 4-inch strip that I'm moving right now. That 4-inch strip needs to have Velcro on it, and I'm setting that aside. And I'll sew the Velcro on that. It's not really need for you to see me sew the Velcro on that. It's just a matter of sewing, you know, basically 16 feet for the bottom and 16 feet for the top with Velcro. So that I can Velcro the cold weather pack to it later. And then what I've done is I went ahead and cut out the pattern for the blackout screen, or blackout cover, not screen, for each one of the windows, and I put seam tape on there. So now what I need to do is I need to sew a smaller piece. Basically, those big pieces of Velcro are 2 inches. So I bought 2 inches of Velcro that goes all the way around. And I just bought the Velcro on Amazon. And you do not want to get the adhesive Velcro, because you don't want that glue on the Velcro while you're sewing, because it just plays havoc on your thread. So you want to get Velcro that doesn't have adhesive on it, and then just use seam seal tape so that you can put the adhesive where you want, and then you know where to sew with your sewing machine. And I'm only telling you that because that was an error that I found out while I was doing my project. So keep in mind of that when you're sewing. I'm sure that if people that are watching this know how to sew, they already know that, but I don't. So and sorry for the fluctuation in light. It looks like there's the clouds and stuff are moving over from my window in the back. So anyway, so on this portion of the video, you see me I'm going to be getting those on, and then I'm going to sew those pieces of Velcro to the blackout curtain that's going to be sewn to that flap at the bottom of the screen and the cover that goes around the pop-up part of the camper. So it's a tedious process, but it's not that difficult. And here I am getting the next one ready. So it's just one after another. And then once you get that set up, then you need to have your clear piece that is your window, that you'll see here in a little bit in the video. You get your window in there. So there's 4 windows in the top. So you see I've got the 4 pieces here that I'm going to sew together, and I will let you watch that for a minute, and then I'll get back with you. So here you see I've got all 3 pieces stuck together, Velcroed on, but they're not connected at the bottom. So you basically take the bottom flap and fold it back towards you, and then you fold it over twice, and then you have to sew that together. And that is very challenging to put through the sewing machine. So hopefully you get to see that, but it doesn't look like I'm going to show that to you. So right here, you're seeing me take off some of the tape. I had to put a little bit of tape on there to hold that that bottom flap that you see that's folded over sewn now. Now on this one, just gives you a little bit better view of what it takes. So I'm basically making sure that I have all of it lined up. And I have a little bit of extra here, so I'm going to cut it off because it's really hard to fold all that material and then sew it together. So you want to get as tight of a fold as you possibly can. It just makes it look so much better on the other side. So what I need to do now is hold that flap over, and then I've got the clear underneath that, and then I've got the net underneath that. So you get both those over. Now you're going to take a little bit of tape, and you're going to take that bottom flap, and you're going to tape it down and fold it over. And that basically what it does is it allows you to put tape across for the net. So you need to tape the netting down because you're gonna end up folding that over, and you want the bottom flap there that's closest to me, that's part of the main pop-up roof that goes all the way around. And I cut all those on a 45, and you saw me how I folded them when I was cutting them out in the beginning. And I had that pattern, and that's the reason why I had made the pattern so much smaller, because I needed all that excess to have for each one of these folds. And I used the excess on the sides as well, so for the folds over on the sides. But you don't have to do this. Only do this bottom seam once, and that's to keep the water out. And that's why you fold it in so many different ways, just to keep the water out. So, and I put a piece of tape, seam tape, on each one of those. And then you have to be, like, for my machine, it was really tough because I had to sew it, so I wasn't necessarily going through the seam tape. But I ended up sewing through the seam tape and having to fix my yarn my thread a couple times, but which is okay, because I really wanted to get that seam as tight as possible, and you can't really tell where you're going through and where you're not going through on the seam tape when you do the fold over. So here in a second, I'm gonna fold it over, and I'm just getting some excess off there so that the fold is a little bit better. And because when you make it, you give yourself plenty of material, at least I did, so that if it was a little bit longer, then you could pull it off. So here's the last piece on here, and then we're gonna fold it over once the first time, and then you're gonna fold it over the last time. So I'm gonna put a little bit of tape on there again to hold that last one over, so that I can get it sewn. And I would have been miserable without this tape, so definitely get plenty of that. And I ended up getting that from Sell Right. They make they do for boating and stuff. I liked theirs the best because I bought one of theirs, and I bought a couple off of Amazon as well. But Sell Right had the best seam tape for what I was doing. So you can see how hard it is to get that over. When you sew it, it brings it right down. You can see on that other one over there, the first one I did, it's nice and flush. So, and I'm sorry I didn't show the video of the sewing part, but I think you get the idea. It's definitely, you got to have a good sewing machine to do that. And my sewing machine was awesome. I'm sure there's better ones, but it just rocked. It was awesome. It was definitely worth the money. And I don't know how much they are brand new, but I paid $500 on from a Miki Couture factory. So thanks for watching. Next thing coming up is I told you I had the tabs that I was going to make for the pop-up roof that had velcro on it for the cold weather pack. And so I'm going to make a cold weather pack that is made out of that POPUP aluminum insulation stuff that you can get at Home Depot and other places. But it looks like the POPUP plastic things we all love to pop and make noise with. But it's got aluminum on both sides, and I've used that in the past to put in windows and stuff to keep my motorhome and my trailer warm in the wintertime. And so I'm going to use it to go up on the pop-up roof. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the Velcro on that, and then once it gets cold, I'll just take that with me camping, and then I'll put that up on the roof. I'm not sure if the roof will come up and down very easily with it on, so we'll see how that works. But for now, I'm just gonna take it with me and put it up, because I don't think I want it up all the time, especially not in the heat. Coming up, you'll see on the edges it's got I sewed rope binding on the edge of the pop-up to help secure it to the roof. And on this particular piece I put tan material, and when I get ready to install it on the roof, you'll see how that looks. You can see right there on the roof, on the bottom edge there's a little tan piece that goes all the way around. And so with that, I had to get it all lined up on the roof and get it ready to go. And to secure it in the roof, there's these bolts that you bolt in. And on the old roof, it already had the holes there. And so you just kind of have to get the material in the right spot. And I used VHB tape, 3M, really heavy-duty double stick-em tape. And I put that on there just to kind of give me another means of secure. And it held pretty much everywhere except for a couple places that the places that it was secured to was kind of weird, so it didn't connect like it should have. But so to get the holes through, I went around and I started at one end, and I would poke this machine through there, and it's a hot foam cutter. So basically it's a tool that people that make designs and stuff out of foam use it to cut out little pieces of foam. And so it's hooked up to electricity, and it's got a really sharp point on it, kind of like a nail. And you just poke it through the hole, and it burns all the material around it. And it worked really well for this job. And I was able to just poke it through there, and there was no cutting, which cutting a hole with a razor blade kind of leaves, 4 edges that could fray or whatever. But this stuff won't fray anyway. But it just made a clean insulation having that through there, and you just had to get your screw up there high enough, and then put your washers on. And these have they're they're washers with rubber ends on each side, and so I put those on there. One thing, when I was doing this, you'll probably notice me here in a minute. I'll get a little puzzled because it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. And what was happening was I didn't make it long enough. So when I sewed it together, I probably took up some of the space I needed. So I ended up having to take it off and adding 6 inches to it. You can't really tell. In the next video, the next portion of this video, you'll probably see a couple seams. And that is where I had to seam it together. Okay, just give you a little update on the top. I got it put in. I got the top secured in, and you can kind of see the bottom here. I'll switch my light. It's kind of dark, sorry. So the bottom here, you'll see a Velcro strip that goes all the way around. And that Velcro strip is for a cold weather pack that I'm sewing to put on it. And there's the top part of the Velcro. The cold weather pack will be sewn, and then when it's cold outside, I'll have that in here. And you can kind of see on this particular window, we have the blackout screen down, and then you've got the let me see if I can get this for you guys. So you unvelcro this, and then you've got your screen out here that's sewn in, that I sewed together for you guys in the other videos. You can kind of see the inside. There's the other side of the window. So, and then the blackout just goes up like so, and obviously it needs to be done all the way across, but that's what the inside looks like. And I'll show you what the outside looks like. Okay, so the outside, there's a couple shadows in here, but you can kind of see the outside, and that's what the windows look like from the outside. And then that's my top that I had to secure it to. And here's the back window. You can see how the back window is, and then it's mounted to the top of the trailer by those bolts there. And then obviously that fiberglass comes up 2.5 inches all the way around. And so here's the other side. You can kind of see, and then you've got your screen on the outside, and then your plastic to keep the weather out on the inside there. And all in all, it went really well. There's, several challenges, and I'm definitely not the best seamstress or seamster, or however you say it. But anyway, that's the finished product, and you can kind of see how it's mounted on the inside. I mean, on the top. So all those have been they all have silicone on them, and rubber washers wherever that's mounted to it. So thanks for watching. Utah Yodas. Overlanding